Today, I want to share with you a feeling good experiment that I accidentally stumbled upon these last few weeks. So, as of this recording, I'm still in Zurich, but by the time you listen to this, I'll probably be back in New York City. So, we found out we were pregnant in December. And since then, obviously, with pregnancy comes different doctor's appointments and checkups. And I've had to have a few of those here while we were away. And so the last few weeks, aside from doctors, which are all fine and good, thankfully, we have been hit, me and my husband, with just a bunch of random things that have not worked out. So we had to cancel a huge trip that we had planned for all of these various reasons. We got sick literally 2 or 3 weeks in a row, thankfully not COVID, but definitely sick. And we just kept getting hit one thing after another. And then client things would pop up and work things would pop up. And I literally felt like I was underwater, and I hadn't felt that. And I can't even remember when. And so that all happened right before a few weeks ago. And I remember thinking, okay, clearly my energy needs a boost. I need to get out of this lower energy space. And I believe that not everything can be blamed on us. Like, not every situation that happens in your life is literally because you thought a negative thought or you weren't energetically aligned. I do believe that sometimes things happen to teach us, to help us to shift or to see where we need to grow. And I think that this was just one of those moments where it's like, it happened, and how can I grow from this? And so I started this new week. I was heading to the doctor's appointment, and a friend had told me about Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, or an audiobook version of it for free on YouTube. And I had it in a physical copy, but not with me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to listen to this to have something good in my ears when I'm traveling to the doctor's office. And so I started listening to it. And then later that day, I started watching Kathy Heller's Abundant You live session, catching up on 4 of those. I was watching them during lunch and on my breaks. And then I would read bits and pieces of Wayne Dyer books, listening to audio versions of his talks as well. And I started finding myself feeling better. And so the next day I would listen to bits and pieces of each of these speakers in the mornings before I started any work or errands. And I started noticing this accumulation of good feeling, good energy. And so when I continued to go to various doctor's appointments or lunches, I'd make sure that I would not sneak in, but, listen to these feel good, educational, spiritual things. And what I noticed was that my spirit kept getting fuller and more expansive. My energy felt clean and clear again. I also noticed that I was gravitating towards writing and canceling meetings on my calendar. My spirit's presence was stronger than my ego. So I understood with clarity what it wanted me to do, more than I have literally in months. As I worked on content and ideas for the good space, and as I prepare for maternity leave, the spirit would make clear what was worth focusing on. And it was almost like I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't even try. It just came to me. It became clear the kind of change that we wanted to create in you listening, the community that we have, and the world. All of a sudden, I could think and feel bigger than I had in such a long time. I want to point out how powerful this act of feeling good and feeling the spirit is. Even I have to relearn this over and over. And when you allow yourself to sink into the feeling of spirit, to allow it to envelope you and become a strong, bright presence, any action you take will not only be aligned, but also 10 times more powerful. You'll take one action that has the power to move the earth instead of small, friction, resistance-filled ones. It's tempting to feel like, oh, I have no time and I need to knock out as many little things as possible. Let's be real. Most of us have been there. I have been there many times. Or we often think that getting right to work and running errands is more important than getting aligned. But I can tell you with 100% confidence that that's not the case. It's worth every second you spend to get your mind and heart coherent, on the same page and feeling the same energy. Because I can promise you, everything you do after that will be like lightning in a bottle, powerful, effortless, quick. This week, I haven't been as diligent in setting my energy up for the day, but this is something I want to make into a new habit and way of life, to allow my spirit to be the driver of my soul and not the ego. So who's with me? And again, ebb and flow with what your spirit feels drawn to. Before and most days, meditating, gentle movement, trying to be slower and have more space in my schedule, those are all consistent things that I like to do. But for some reason, I just needed this extra boost the last 2 weeks. And so listening to other energetic leaders really is what I needed. So you might need something different, and that's great. The whole idea is just have a moment for yourself to feel good. Do your own feel good experiment. What difference do you see in your decisions? What difference do you see in how you show up? Maybe you discover something that you don't even want in your life anymore that you wouldn't have had the courage to let go of had you not gotten into a feel good space. Anyway, it was really powerful. And again, for the last couple of days, I've been waking up and aligning myself. And even when my ego wants to pull me away and do something else, I'm really glad to have focused on aligning. And it really, truly has made such a difference. And I hope that it does for you too.